A lot of people ask me, I own a business, or my spouse owns a business. Is there anything special I need to do? The answer is yes. A business, LLC, S Corp, trust, anything that is not the specific individual must be made a party to the case. A lot of people laugh when Mitt Romney said corporations are people too, but he was right, at least for family law. In essence, if you have a business, the case will be wife against wife, husband against husband, husband against wife, and the business. So you'll have three parties to a case or four parties to a case. And that party must be served individually. There are five key cases in Florida, specifically the Tampa Bay area, that make it very, very clear. If you do not join the business as a party to your divorce, the court cannot touch it. The court cannot order it to do anything. This is especially key when one spouse owns a business and keeps all the money in the business. So on paper, your spouse may look like they have very little in the way of assets because they're all held through holding companies for real estate, through S Corps for businesses, or through LLCs. If you forget to join those specific businesses as parties, there's nothing you can do. They must have a chance to represent themselves in court, even if your spouse is 100% owner of that business. It's not enough. They must be served, they must have separate counsel, and they must be able to have a day in court and to file a responsive pleadings. One of the most difficult parts in any divorce case with a business is determining the value of that business. A lot of people say, well, the business makes all this money. Isn't that the value? And the answer is no. Or you watch Shark Tank and you see them doing 5x of revenue or, 3x of net proceeds. No, that's not how it works either. There are two different kinds of value within a business. One is the actual value of the business itself. To determine that, you must bring in a forensic CPA to conduct a business valuation. That business will then have to provide all of their bank statements so we can see, and the court can see, what they earn, but what their expenses are. It's not fair to look at a business and say, well, their gross revenue, the money they made last year is $1 million, therefore the business made $1 million. But that's just not true. There's staff, there's contractors, there's rent, there's car payments, there's a bunch of expenses that must come off. The other part of value is goodwill. For example, if it is Joe Smith Handyman and Joe Smith has no employees, and the only reason people call are because Joe Smith will be there, it could be that the business has no value because without Joe Smith, there is no value. And that's true with a lot of solo run businesses. So again, even if that business has value, because Joe Smith is there, we have to look at what the business value would be like if Joe Smith was not. Otherwise, it's all goodwill and the business has no value. Most importantly, whatever you do, do not let your lawyer or do not forget yourself to join the business as a party to the case. If you don't know what that means, and you probably don't, call a lawyer. They will or should. A lot of people ask, how do we divide business assets? Business assets, so long as the business is a party, are treated like other assets, just as if they were owned by you and the spouse. So question number one is the business marital? If it was formed during the marriage, it is marital. If the business was formed before the wedding date, it is a non-marital business. However, marital effort, for example, your spouse or yourself working on that business every day has increased the value, making that portion marital. Assets and liabilities are charted just like all other assets and liabilities outside of a business. But again, first we must classify whether the business is marital. So we'll look at for example, the business has a truck. We'll look at the truck value minus the pending loan value. If there's contracts coming in, again, it's a very specific analysis that can't be just generally applied to every single business. If perhaps it's shares of McDonald's stock or franchises of McDonald's stock or franchises of McDonald's, those are much easier to classify. Regardless, make sure you have an attorney who knows what they are doing. Every single case is different. Just because your friend 3 states away got this result does not mean you will.